get going, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks. So like you said, I'm Ben Burr. I'm the Executive Director of the Blue Ribbon Coalition, and who here is a member of the Rising Sun Cruisers? You guys are awesome. You guys donated a big amount to us this last year, and in exchange for that, we also made you all members of Blue Ribbon Coalition. How many of you are members of another club that isn't the Rising Sun Cruisers? We want you guys to also join Blue Ribbon Coalition through your clubs. So look us up on sharedtrails.org, and we'd love to have you join us as well. And the reason for that is we want to represent all of you. Last year we participated in over 300 actions in 28 states. That's the federal agencies, state agencies planning what they're going to do with our public lands. And so we're heavily involved in your state, I guarantee it, wherever you're from. And we're involved in 5 major lawsuits right now. So we fight through litigation, advocacy, and lobbying to keep our trails open. You're here in Moab. I can tell you this is one of our hot spots. We are working very hard to keep the trails open here, the dispersed campsites open here, and there is a lot of opposition to that. There are organized groups that want to see that closed. So we created our new slogan this year. We call it Defend Your Ground. Because unfortunately, we're playing defense. That first word is important. The second word, I think, is even more important because it is your ground. This is our public lands. I think we have a right to be there and to get the benefits from enjoying them. And how many of you guys have like your own little favorite trail, your own favorite spot to go camping? Yeah, I have my spots. They're mine. So these are your lands, and you get attached to them. And it's your ground, it's your public land. And so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I need the most from you all. First of all, your clubs, I need you to join us. You as individuals, I need you to join us. Show me again how many of you listen to the Snail Trail podcast. Okay, you guys all have a long drive ahead of you. If you want the long version of this speech, I just did an episode with them a couple weeks ago, so if you go find them on a podcast network, you can find a good hour-and-a-half discussion with me and Tyler and James, and we discussed a lot of things that we do at Blue Ribbon Coalition, and the response was really great. A lot of people joined from listening to the podcast. It's a good way to learn what we do, so give that a listen on your way home. You get the long version of this. You guys should know, I don't currently own a Toyota. My first truck was a 1995 Toyota truck. It wasn't like before Tacomas came out. And I drove that through high school. And then in college, I had a 4Runner. And I got cut off by a minivan on the freeway. And I rolled it 5 times on I-15 going 70 miles an hour. Walked away. But I don't think, was it Marlon? He probably didn't salvage any parts from my Toyota. Because there was nothing left. And now I'm the minivan guy. We have a bunch of kids, but we're getting to the phase of life where I'm talking my wife into maybe getting another 4Runner or something like that. So hopefully soon I'll be out here on the trail with you guys with a Toyota. But in addition from your support and your membership, we need your stories. The biggest reason I saw trails get closed here in Utah and the lawsuits that I'm in right now is because the environmental groups that want to shut down the trails say we're not using them enough. They say they're not getting used, they're reclaiming back to nature, and so we should close them. So I did a document request of all their field work that they had shared with the BLM to find out what these trails were. I went and found them to make sure that they exist and put them in a guidebook called the Lost Trails Guidebook. And so this is in the San Rafael Slope, and a few areas around Moab. We're doing a volume 2 right now. I was on trails today documenting some of these lost trails around Moab, the Labyrinth Rim Gemini Bridges area. And so if you go to losttrailsguidebook.org, you can order one of these online, and that'll support our legal efforts. And so these are trails you've probably not ridden before. They're trails that are kind of less known. They're not the named trails, but we want you out there using them. And you'll see in here, I mean, I went and created a story around 30 of these trails. I was the one that went and documented these. They're all awesome, even though they're not the most popular trails in Utah. And so, like I said, we've done 300 actions with BLM, Forest Service, National Park Service, other agencies, and we are always asking our members to also comment on these projects. These comments become incredibly powerful to the agencies when they have your stories of your trails, your sites, and your areas that you like to visit. And that's what I need you guys to do, is go out and have these experiences, but then make sure you're making those experiences part of this fight to keep stuff open. We're in a lawsuit right now that I think will possibly go to the Supreme Court. We're challenging the big monument expansions that have been made to designate 3 million acres of Utah into national monuments. And the folks we invited to write witness declarations, so they're in the brief, they're in the lawsuit, it's the clubs in those areas, telling the stories of the trails they can't access anymore. And so we often will invite our members to be part of these legal actions with us when I can find you, track you down, and I usually do that through the clubs. That's why we want club members. And we invite you to be part of that when it becomes necessary. As we're telling these stories, how many of you are on like Instagram or Facebook or TikTok? Okay. We are too. We want you guys, that's a good place to learn from us what we're doing. We want you to follow us. We want you to share our stuff. And we want to network with you and share this content together. I think Tyler will tell you from his listeners on the podcast, once our content gets presented to your audience members, they think it's valuable. People want to know what's going on with these fights. The agencies make it really complicated, probably to keep you away from the process. But once you understand it, people want to be part of the fights. They want to keep these trails open. They really get attached to these places. And that's what we need your help with, is becoming part of the story to keep these lands open. You can do that by becoming a member of Blue Ribbon Coalition. If you guys want to talk to me about, I know all the folks that donated this stuff for the raffle, it leads to donations to organizations like us. And when I talked to Tyler at Northplate about this, he says that. He's like, when we donate our products to this stuff, we make sure that the organizations and nonprofits we're donating to know they've got to support organizations like us and some of the other great organizations that are out there. So if you're in the off-road businesses, you reach the customers that go and use these trails. I spent the morning going around Moab putting little displays on all my partners here in town so they can help us sell these guidebooks from their retail locations. We'll set that up with you. I mean, we want to find any way we can to partner with you and help all of us get the word out about this. And so reach out to us, connect, become a member, go ride trails that nobody else is riding, and let us know how it goes. We'd love to hear about it. I'm Ben, and I hope you guys will continue supporting us.